few weeks ago we came across a really interesting feature on an old map, and I thought it'd be really quirky to go and have a look and show you guys in person. Now we just need to head south, cross the railway here at this crossing and head down an old bridleway. So for context, let's have a look at this on the old map I'm referring to. Let's bring it up on screen now. Now we're going to head south here underneath that railway.
Hold on a second. That doesn't look like we're going under the railway.
You're not wrong, it looks like we're heading up a hill there towards the railway. I think we're going to have a problem.
Why, what's up?
Well, I've just checked the OS maps on the modern OS map, and it looks like the bridleway just stops, but also looking at that gate, it looks like that gate's locked on the way to the bridleway.
Well, that's a different problem, but did you just say the bridleway just stops?
It just stops. Let's bring up on screen now the modern OS map, and you can see the bridleway heads south for a while and just stops. We really do have a problem here. First of all, there's the obvious one, the bridleway just stops, but also we can't even get to the bridleway because it's been blocked by this gate and the chained padlock. Now, that's really strange. We probably could legally climb this gate, but that doesn't seem right onto a live railway. You shouldn't be climbing over a gate directly onto a live railway. Welcome to the footpaths and bridleways that just stop. So that bridleway at its abrupt ending got me thinking, I wonder if this is unique. I wonder if there's any more.
Well, I'm guessing as we've got a video going on right now this precise second, it's not unique and it's quite a common thing.
Indeed it is. And if you thought the first one was odd, wait till you have a look at this one. Just up here we're trying to find the old lead road, which is a Roman road, 2,000 years old, built very early in the Roman period and used to transport lead from the Mendips all the way back across to Salisbury and Winchester and then the rest of the Roman Empire. So the pathway we're on is going to cross the Roman road perpendicular in a minute, and the beauty of this bit is you can see it because it's marked as an embankment on the OS maps. We're going to be able to see the agger of the 2,000-year-old road. It's important because OS have also marked that with restricted byway, but they've only marked the bit you can see. So this bit of restricted byway in the middle of nowhere just stops at that end and it stops at that end. Really peculiar. You can't see it on camera, I'm not even going to try and show you, but the Roman road is here. We can see it from about 20 yards back that way because you can just see a ripple, but this field has been ploughed to death. But there is a Roman road here, and I'm sure if I show you a satellite image I'll be able to show that. Just let me show you the bizarrity of this. Just come this way and have a look at this. Okay, so this is a restricted byway. That way across that field there, which could have anything growing in it, restricted byway. And what's even more bonkers about this, have a look at this. Well, how are you supposed to get anything through there? Human, bike, horse. So this right of way seems to be marked on the map only where the physical Roman road can be seen. Well, that's really curious. And yet again, another right of way that not only just stops randomly, but also is blocked off. We can't even reach the end of the legal right of way. So let's take a step back or two and give this whole thing a bit more broader context. So in England and Wales,
And probably Scotland as well, but we're not going to go there right now.
we have what's known as public rights of way, paths you can walk along or move along. I say paths, footpaths, bridleways, byways, you name it. Now, the official records for those are held by the local councils, the definitive maps and statements of rights of way. Now, these were largely collated in the 1950s when governments set about to record them via councils and ultimately via parishes. Now, the people that were collating this information on the ground were often volunteers, and well, they read the instructions on how it was to be done. And it turns out, well, two problems. Number one, it wasn't that clear, and number two, they might well have been easily led by local landowners. So in the case of the lead road where we were earlier, well, that example, they took the instructions to record the now restricted byway to be where the road can be seen, literally. Now, a Roman road that's 2,000 years old is clearly subject to missing bits for 1,000 different reasons, so surely the answer would be just to join them up.
No, they decided just to make the byways literally what they could see.
But that is just the tip of the iceberg. You join us now just southwest of Devizes. We're walking between Wharton and Keevil on an old lane. I think it's called West Lane. Now, it's actually a bridleway. Now, that's important for a couple of different reasons.
And the first odd and striking thing about this bridleway is, you've guessed it,
it just ends abruptly. It just stops. The issue comes here where it just stops, because in the old maps it doesn't. It clearly states footpath, FP. Now, if we zoom in on a modern map, you'll note that there's a line perpendicular to this bridleway. Well, that's a boundary line, and it probably tells us a lot more about the root cause of this problem. So it turns out, before we get to more detail on the root cause of the problem, we're only halfway along that west lane we showed you, and it's already been blocked off by some, what looks like, what are they, massive...
They're cow troughs, aren't they?
Massive cow troughs or something.
Yeah. It's
been blocked off. So in theory, we can't go any further. And as I say, we're only about halfway along that lane. It's so naughty because not only should you be able to get all the way across this lane, but actually you can't even get halfway. So I was going to see what it looked like where it did end, but at the end of the day you can't even get down there now halfway along this track because these have been put here. No signs, nothing at all. So we could in theory go across there, but you get the idea. So we've headed northeast of Devizes now, 5 or 10 miles or so, and just to our south is Knapp Hill and Adam's Grave. And if tales of missing pathways and pathways that just vanish aren't enough for you, we want to try this quirky little tale just up ahead. Before we do that, let me just show you what's inside this hedge. Just in here is the Wansdyke. Now, I've got the date of this wrong in a previous video. I don't know why I had it in my head that it was pre-Roman. Yeah, but it's not. This is the early medieval, if that's the right phrase, sort of after the Romans, when the Romano-British were here, and they were trying to defend themselves against the Saxons, the incoming invasion of the Saxons, by all accounts. There is going to be some research published on that to sort of confirm those dates, so don't take my history as gospel. And it's absolutely massive. As you can see, I'm still struggling to get down it. Show you the sheer scale of it. Oh. Oh. Right, so Rebecca's up there, and Rebecca's probably 5 meters above me. Absolutely stunning. Now, what's interesting is Rebecca is walking on a pathway. It actually shows on the OS map the pathway goes on top of the bank. Now, in about 100 meters or so, we're going to get to a border. We're going to get to a county border, not county border, presumably like an old parish border. And the pathway that Rebecca's on is going to turn into a bridleway. So if you're on a horse or a bike and you're coming towards us, well, technically it just stops in the middle of nowhere. But why exactly does this come about? Now, the cynic would have you believe that county councils presumed the pathways would be much cheaper to maintain than bridleways and byways. So not only do we have a confusing method of recording, but we seem to also have a slight encouragement to downgrade things. And to continue on to the bridleway, we have to go through there, which is mad.
Well, it's because a lot of trees have fallen down, clearly. But
yeah,
we're at the bottom now, remember, not the top.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter where we are. The bridleway says it goes along the bottom of the Wansdyke, the southern side of the Wansdyke. Imagine coming down here with a horse. Clearly, people don't anymore because they can't. And I don't want to come across like a horse fanatic or mountain bike fanatic or whatever. It is what it is. This is a bridleway. You should be able to get down here.
So why does any of this matter? I mean, I appreciate horse riders possibly have less places to ride, but that hasn't really changed, has it?
No, but what has changed is a law that came out in the year 2000, which broadly goes... The Countryside and Rights of Way Act of 2000 states that if a pathway was in use, a footpath, a bridleway or a byway, prior to 1949, and it's not recorded by the 1st of January 2026, then it will be extinguished, gone forevermore. Now, ministers in England and Wales have suggested that actually they won't follow through with this ruling, so what's all the panic about? Nothing has been written down formally, it's just words. It's basically just a party political manifesto. Until something's changed for good and written down in law, then we still need to make some noise about this. Now, before we tell you how you can help and ask you if you have any of these mystery dead-end pathways or footpaths in your area, there is one more absurdity. That is the phenomenon of the white lane, and we're heading towards one right now. This one looks like a bit of a mess. White lanes can really be anything from completely private driveways to a formally adopted highway. Now, these white lanes have kind of fallen in the gap of being recorded, and they are absolutely at risk if they aren't recorded in a formal way. The thing is, in some respects they're a little bit quantum. You're not quite sure what you're going to get until you turn up and you see one of these white lanes. So the ruling is, in this law, you need to make an application by the date with evidence. So that's before the 1st of January 2026. As long as the application is in, then the route cannot be extinguished. Well, hold on, we don't need to go down to those buildings where the triangle is and then come back up. Just received a tweet from somebody called Cyclist UK, because it's now classed as a highway. Rather obscurely, they are recorded on the list of streets maintainable at public expenses and the street works register. So I said, so does that mean the white road isn't in danger of being lost, or is in danger of being lost? And he said, no, this one is okay because it's an adopted highway. It's on the adopted highway list. That shows you that these white lanes can be anything. So that is okay. You could drive your car down there because it's now on the adopted highway list. But looking at the OS map, it's not obvious. So that means that it really are, the white lanes are the quantum lanes and the quantum roads of the OS maps. So we would tell you to go onto your local council definitive map, but it's not always easy. They're not always called the same thing. It's tricky to navigate. However, the ramblers.org have done a lot of this for you, and they've already worked out if there has been applications made for certain areas. Go and have a look at their website. You can log in and you can add some of these routes yourselves that were in use pre-1949 but aren't rights of way now. That's hugely important. So when we started this video, it was about the random pathways, bridleways, footpaths that just ended or had a gap or had been downgraded for whatever reason, but actually it turned out a lot of these are already blocked off halfway down that route. Really disappointing. I think 75% of the ones that we visited had an issue. That wasn't the intention of the video in its original format. But there it is. You can still go on to ramblers.org and have a look at those sort of things. Now, if this video has wound you up a bit, number one, don't panic. We're not making videos like this every week. Just little things that come and stick in our net. Number two, you can go and watch this video just here.